How's it going? It's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install these Konig K-Summit XXL tire chains on our 2022 Toyota RAV4. First thing I will say is that per Toyota's manual, they don't recommend using chains on these tires. It's because there is limited wheel well clearance. But if you're in a state that requires you to have chains, these might actually be a pretty good option for you because chains themselves don't make any contact with the back of your tire. There's nothing back there at all. So these might actually be a good option. The installation of them is pretty tricky. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first we'll talk about some of the details of the chains themselves. They are going to be a diamond pattern, which is going to give you a good amount of coverage on the tires themselves. It's going to help you a lot with turns and handling, and it's going to be a little bit of a smoother ride than, say, some kind of ladder pattern chains might be. The links themselves are square links, which is going to help you get a little bit better ice, or a little bit better bite into ice and snow. And as you can see going across here, there are traction plates, which are also there to bust up that ice. In addition, they are going to be a manganese nickel alloy construction, which is going to give you better resistance to rust and weather, and it's going to give you more longevity on the chains. The bag that these chains come in is pretty robust, probably one of the best built bags that we have. Inside you can see the second pair of chains because they do come two chains in each set, and in the back here is where you store the tools that'll help you install it. So as far as protecting the chains and keeping them in your car securely, that's a pretty solid bag. The installation of these chains is pretty involved, and there are several steps that go along with it, but you can check out how we did that now. To install these chains, the first thing that we want to do is make sure we have everything that we're going to need. Konig does include several tools which we will need to get started, including a couple of levers and this flower lever here as well. For our car, we have to look and see how many of these spacers we're going to need to remove. Our tire size here is a 235/55/19, so use that and then get into the manual on the actual installation of these chains to find out how many of these spacers you're going to have to remove. Spacers are going to look similar to these, but this is where you're going to actually need this flower tool. You'll put it on the nut end, and then you'll use the included Allen key to fit in there, and you'll have to twist the spacers off as needed based on your tire size. In our case, we had to take off 5 of them. Next, it's recommended that you check the U-adapt system that's included. There's this built-in spacer, so you'll put it up to the nut on your tire. Make sure that when it's fully inserted, this black piece isn't making contact with the rim of your tire. In our case, it's fine, but they do have these built-in or these included separate spacers if you need, as well as a couple of extra bolts just in case something breaks or it goes missing. To get the actual chains installed, first thing we're going to want to do is fold out the arms. They'll probably try to fold back in. That's okay. Just the important ones to get are about 10 and 2. So you want to basically start by fitting them around your tire. The bottom one is obviously not going to fit because the tire is actually in the way. Then we use this U-adapt system, fit it onto pretty much, I think any bolt is okay, but we like to use one of the top ones. You want to make sure that this arrow here is facing into the tire rather than away. And you can hand thread it as far as it'll go before you use the included lever. And as we torque this, once we get to the point where it's secure, it'll actually make a click noise. It doesn't work like a socket wrench does, so you will actually have to remove it and tighten it every time. So these are definitely going to be secure, but the installation process is significantly more involved than most of your other chains will be. But the trade-off there is that security. And there you hear it. It's that click noise to let you know that it's torqued where it needs to be. Next, we can start actually winching the chains closer to the tire using this built-in hand winch here. You'll know to stop whenever a red line appears on the actual strap. So until that, just keep going until you see this red line here appear. At this point, because the tire is making contact with this bottom clamp here, we will have to actually get in and move the car forward just to get the rest of the chains on, so we'll do that now. Now that we've rolled forward a little bit, we'll try to get the rest of the arms on securely. You might have to release some of that tension you put into it earlier to make it fit. Now that we've adjusted all these arms onto our tire, we'll ratchet this back down again until we see that red line. You can see the red line here. And once you do that, chains are installed. As you can see on the bottom here, there's a little bit that's hanging out, but the beauty of these chains is that they will tighten as you drive, so that's not something that we should be worried about. But you can get them installed on your passenger side as well, and then you're ready to go. As far as tire chains go, these are going to be one of the more premium options that we have available. They are going to be a little bit tricky to install, as you saw, so you're going to want to definitely try these out in your garage before you get in any sort of trouble. And if you know that you're expecting weather that day, I would recommend getting these on before the weather itself hits, because you will have to get in your car and move it forward or backward to get the chains fully installed. That being said, the fact that they are Class S certified and they don't make any contact with the back of your tire is a real plus for this car. As we talked about, that limited wheel well clearance is a thing. So although they are tricky to install, they might be a good option for you, and they're a solid fit overall on the 2022 Toyota RAV4.